listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV's Revolution After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Revolution After Show.
Welcome, Bingits, for doing your watching episode 19's recap, which is Children of Men. I am your host, Megan Thomas, and who are you, dude?
And I am your host, Larice Shamar. Thank you very much, Megan Thomas.
Yes. And Brandon London can't join us because he is at camp. He's at fat camp. No, I'm just like, he's really at football camp. He plays for the CFL, so we gotta
congratulations, Brandon, for another season.
Yes, we miss you here, Brandon. So let's jump right in. This is the second to last episode before the season finale. Which
Can I say intense?
Wow, they set it up. Like, you see they set it up so well. I cannot wait until next week. Like, literally, I'm so excited. I'm salivating.
I'm like so excited, but I do not want to see it go. I don't want it to be the season finale because, like, oh, what's gonna happen next? What's gonna happen next? I have to wait till the fall to see what happened next.
And you know what? They are like I was watching some stuff online, some of the Twitter sphere, the blogospheres, whatever.
Yeah.
And they're saying that the way that the season finale ends is going to set us up for the second season, but like in a whole way that you never expected.
Yeah, like I can't imagine like what's really going to happen in the second season because now that they're in the tower, it's just like, what's next? What's next?
Okay, so let's talk about it. Okay, so the episode starts off. Rachel she's got this grenade in her hand. She's set on killing
I told you she wasn't going to die.
I mean, yeah, so she can't die, and of course, I don't think, Sebastian Monroe can't die as of yet. Yeah. Because they're part of the show, so she doesn't die. But that was just so, okay. If I pop the top of a grenade, I'm gonna toss it towards my target. I'm gonna toss it low. So they're gonna have to bend down to get it, which is gonna take some time, and then pick it up, and by then, hopefully it explodes.
I mean, typically,
why did she just hold it like this?
Because she wanted to kill herself.
Okay, but she would have still died.
But
had she tossed it a little closer to Sebastian Monroe. Why would you? I just don't get it. I feel like,
first of all, it was just too much time was spent to like elapse from her pulling the pin. Cause you have about like 3 to 5 seconds before a grenade goes off. So I'm kind of like, is it gonna blow? Is it gonna blow? What's gonna happen? And like she get muscles down.
And like you knew you were gonna get muscle down. These are big like militia dudes. Did you really think you were gonna be able to hold on to that grenade with all your might and they weren't gonna get out your hand?
But at the same time, like if I feel like, oh, you gonna come at me, I'm just gonna drop the grenade.
Right. Like,
so it was just
I don't know. Rachel, you should have done better with that grenade, honey. We didn't think that all the way through, but I get it.
But I knew you wasn't going to die, Rachel, because I was like, she just can't die. She knows everything.
Yes. So she doesn't succeed.
Yeah.
She gets captured. Of course, Aaron's in the bushes, and he sees this happening. And Monroe takes her to scan her hand to open the tower.
Yes.
And she's like, I don't know what this is. This is not going to work. And then it does work.
Yes.
And, of course, Randall is like, whoa.
How do you have access and I don't?
So then he says that Grace must have done it, but of course she was being watched by his person, so now he knows something's up. Yeah. Grace has changed the codes.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. Grace is, like, in my thought, when last time we saw Grace, it was just her and Randall's security guard. And that's it. But then he went down in the elevator, but then he dies, and we don't hear anything from Grace in the last, 4 or 5 episodes? Yeah. So now we kind of figure like it's just Grace by herself, but how is she going to take on an army of people? But with the last episode, we saw people looking at them.
Yes, like, a whole slew of people.
Yes. So now it's like maybe, like you said last week, maybe Rachel have informed her people to come in and like protect the tower. So now we just kind of...
Now we find out that these people are really the protectors, but, so they see on the monitors. Okay, they're coming in. Let's go say hi. What does Dan say? Let's go say hello. And of course they gear up. So now I'm like, what is going on? Who are these people? How long have they been there? Craziness, right? And they grab these weapons. So then, meanwhile, all of this is happening. Miles and company, which I like to say. So it's that Charlie, Nora, the Nevilles, and they come in on the stolen helicopter
that they fix.
That Nora fixed because she's amazing.
Yeah.
While she was drugged, by the way. Yes. So they come off of the helicopter. They park kind of a little ways away.
Yeah.
And they make their way towards the tower when they see a light in the bushes, and they find that it's Aaron.
Yeah, because they thought it was a Monroe spy.
Right.
But it's Aaron who's kind of just like sitting there like, what do I do?
Aaron is just... Every episode, I'm like, Aaron, how did you survive this far?
It's always that one guy that survived. Like, how do you survive? Like,
he should have died a long time ago. He's in there in the middle of the dark with a light. Like, somebody's gonna see you, and clearly they did because they came up to him, and he tells them what happens. He's like, Rachel went to go kill Monroe, but she ended up getting captured, and so now they're like, okay, we have to devise a plan to go rescue her.
Yeah.
And they go to do that.
The plan.
Okay, so the Nevilles, as I like to call them, decide to blow up the generator because that is what's powering the camp, the Monroe camp. The lights, the weaponry, the helicopters, everything.
Yeah.
So they blow that up. Meanwhile, the rest of the crew goes to open the door because Aaron has the override codes.
Yeah. And
at this point, I'm kind of wondering if the people in the tower, because we find out later that the people in the tower know who he is, right? Who Aaron is.
Yeah.
So if they are looking through the camera and, they can see him, why didn't they just let him in?
But at the same time, they was down in the bottom, basically, chasing after Rachel and Randall and Monroe throughout the whole entire time.
Well, that's true, but I feel like there would have still been some people left back. Like, you're not going to send the women and children. Somebody's still monitoring. And I feel like if they knew who Aaron was, why didn't they just let him in? Like, okay, let him in. We know that.
It just would not been a great attack on Miles and company.
I'm just saying, okay, because you know who the guy is. You know who the guy is. Yeah. So he, puts the code in. They get in, but unfortunately, Tom and Jason Neville are too far away. They're trying to hold everybody back. They don't make it in, and it's so sad because then you see Charlie like, no.
She's like, are you gonna close the door? And Miles like, yes.
On her boyfriend, and then you see Jason look back at her. And do you think that he would be mad at her, like, you didn't wait for me, or do you think
he's already mad at her?
I know, but he still loves the girl. Do you think he understands why they had to close the door on him?
Yes. Because when he actually tried to run towards the door, Tom was just like, boy, sit down because you can get yourself shot. And with Tom has his own mindset of a type plan that he would like to do. So he's just kind of like, we get captured, they're not going to kill us because they're waiting for Monroe to come back.
Yes,
so
they are waiting.
So I'd rather be captured than have you shot down. So which is kind of like smart on him just being the military man that he is. But at the same time, I'm pretty sure they probably would have felt safer inside the tower.
Right. So should people go to iTunes and let us know?
Yes. So everybody, please go to iTunes and let us know. What would you have done if you was in a situation with Tom Neville and his son? Would you have ran and get shot, run towards your love, or would you have stayed and be safe and saved by your father? But also check out iTunes, download the iTunes app where we actually can organize your iTunes and making sure that you get to rate us. We also looking for 5 stars. How many?
5.
5 stars is what we're looking for, which is a great thing. We've been doing real well over the last couple of weeks, and with y'all support. So make sure you go to iTunes, download the AfterBuzz app, download to your podcast. Make sure you also tune in with us each and every single week for our AfterBuzz recap.
Yes, please do that. And on top of that, here at AfterBuzz TV, we have, which has been started by Maria Menounos and Kevin Undergaro. They've recently produced a fantastic film called Adventures of Serial Buddies.
It's funny.
It's hilarious.
So funny.
It's hilarious. It's really good. And we never ask you for anything here at AfterBuzz, okay? We just want you to watch your favorite shows and comment about what you think on these shows. But we need something from you, okay? And what we need for you to do is go to serialbuddies.com and download the movie. Find out where you can get it because it's on video on demand starting tomorrow. So you can get it from iTunes. There's Amazon. There's a bunch of different places. So just go to serialbuddies.com and get this movie. It's really funny. When I watched it, like I literally could not stop laughing. Like my side hurt.
It's just like one of those movies that you really don't expect to be laughed, but when you actually see the movie, it's like hilariously so funny. I enjoyed it.
I did. And there's this one scene in there that you just got to see it. The two serial killers meet up. It's really funny. So just make sure you go to serialbuddies.com to see where you can get this. And it's filled with so many different celebrities.
Yes.
Beth Bears, who used to be on AFTERBUZZ TV.
Yes, she did. Congratulations.
She's on Two Broke Girls.
Yes.
She's moving on up.
Yep.
She's in the movie. Artie Lang, Kathy Lee Gifford. It's just a ton of people. So make sure you go watch the movie, download it, video on demand, get it wherever you can on serialbuddies.com, okay?
If you want a good laugh, please get it.
Please get it. So back to the tower.
Yes.
So now Rachel, Randall, Monroe, and his guys are in the tower. And the first thing that we see is Randall shows them video of satellite feeds from around the world, which is very interesting because this is the first time in the Revolution world that we get to see what the rest
what's really going on
of the world looks like.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like you see Paris, you see, what was the other city?
I can't remember.
Like London? I don't know. I can't remember. But there's a bunch of different cities, and you see what they look like. And it's kind of crazy because, these people have no connection to these parts of the world.
Yeah.
So you can see Monroe salivating. Like, he's excited because now, instead of just thinking about U.S. domination, he's like, whoa, what can I do now?
I want world domination.
Right. Like, and Randall tells him, you can not only see people anywhere, you can kill anybody anywhere. Just by the technology.
It's kind of weird though because like satellites and video cameras are still working at to really document everything that's happening on other parts of the world. So it kind of amazed me that they even had that technology still running.
Because this is the one place that wasn't affected. That was not affected. I guess they had it set up to where the nanites didn't stop the electrical suction. They didn't take any of the electricity away from this one place, so it's running like normal.
I guess it's because it's so far down underground that it's probably not affected.
And then here's the other thing. So if the satellites are still working, then that means that the nanites I guess stop at the atmosphere.
Maybe. That's a good question.
You see what I'm saying? Because the satellites still run and they're all across the world.
Yeah.
So that means that I guess if you could find out some way to make a spaceship get past the nanites and get into orbit, then it would work.
But still, it's just kind of like people wouldn't know what to do with power. Again, I think it would actually be more killing if people actually got power because now they don't know what to do with power. It's been like 15, 16 years without power. Like, what do you do? Can you imagine like when we first got power in the world itself? We didn't know what to do.
And there was a difference because there was already governments set up.
Yeah.
In this society, there is no government, there is no law, there is no, except I guess what's under the Plains Nation, the Georgia Federation, those type of laws. But when you have electricity and you enter that into something that has no real structure, then yes, you would have a lot of craziness going on. A whole lot of chaos.
Yeah.
I think in order to be successful, if the power does get turned on, it needs to be introduced in stages. You see what I'm saying? Like, okay, for example, let's just I don't know, tell the nanites if they don't get rid of the nanites, let's just tell the nanites only allow cars to work. Like, just introduce it in stages.
It's gonna be interesting to see though. I mean, I guess we'll probably find out next season what would happen with the power.
Or next episode.
If the power come back on.
If it comes back on, we'll talk about that.
Yes.
So here's what I don't understand. So the crew, Monroe, Rachel, Randall, they get into the elevator, they go down to level 12. However, it stops at 11. So they get out. Randall's like, just take the stairs. And these electromagnetic guns.
They were such powerful guns. Like,
whoa.
Seriously, never seen a gun blow up somebody like that. It was like, oh.
I'm like, are we allowing this kind of violence on TV now?
Yes.
They blew them to bits.
But everybody wanted one of those guns now. Like, oh, that's going to just blow everything up.
I like that gun.
It was interesting.
That gun is very powerful.
I thought like when they first grabbed the guns to go like meet Monroe and them, I thought they was just going to like take them captive. But no, they killed everybody.
Because they're serious.
Yes.
These tower watchers are very
serious about protecting the tower.
That was such a powerful gun. So then, as the chaos ensues, Rachel runs into a room, which is the bunker, I guess, where the president would have been had he been, because this is what it was set up for. So had he been there, this was his special bunker room. So she runs in there, and Monroe busts in.
Follows behind her. I thought it was Randall at first. I was like, it's Randall, but I saw the glove. I was like, oh, Randall died. There's Monroe.
Well, no, we don't know what happened to Randall. We don't know.
Yeah.
And that's what I was gonna say. What happened to him? Because I don't think he died. I'm actually pretty sure he didn't die. I think he got away.
But where is he?
I don't know. And more importantly, what does he want? What do you think Randall want? Why do you think Randall wanted to get down to level 12? Like, what does he have to gain?
I think just more control over everything. Because right now he has no power. He's being held captive by Monroe. And he felt like, if I'm able to turn the power back on, I get to have control because I can turn it off.
Okay, so he wants the control. I guess, but then what is he? So then he basically says, I will give you certain people power if you give me certain, I don't know, certain liberties or whatever. Yeah. Which, I guess that makes sense. And I think, what I think in level 12 is the ability to, which I believe they've said this before, but the ability to manipulate all of the nanites. And I think not even just some of the, I think you can manipulate it in stages. So you can say, okay, in this city, because remember before, they were just supposed to do it, I guess, in Afghanistan. They were just trying to contain it in that city. So I'm assuming whatever is on level 12, you can still have that power and say, okay, so over in China, we're gonna turn the lights on.
Like 4 hours a day.
Right. Yeah. So that is a lot of power. And to me, that's way more power than Monroe probably has even imagined, because he has no clue what's going on here.
Yeah, but I think Monroe is probably like, oh, I have power, I can kind of take over the world, but not like, oh, I have power and I can be more of a dictatorship and control the access of power by limiting the amount of power that someone has and who has power.
Yes. So it's very interesting. So we'll see where Randall is, because right now we have no clue where he is. But inside the sealed room, Rachel talks, she's not really talking, but Monroe was talking to her like, who are these people that just ambushed us? Yeah. And all she can say is, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. Do you think she knew who these people were?
I think she knew. I think she knew because she knew Grace was in the tower. She didn't know who else was in the tower with Grace, but at the same time, she felt it had to be someone associated with Grace, because she knew Grace was in the tower because Randall said, in the beginning of the season that he had Grace. Yeah. So she knew Grace was in the tower, so she don't exactly know who else is in the tower with Grace, but she figured it had to be somebody working with Grace.
So then my question is, why didn't she just stay out there? Like, hey, it's me. I'm here with Grace. I'm Grace's friend.
Did you not see the slaughter? They didn't even ask questions. Like, shoot first, walk away.
Okay, so my whole thing is, I don't think she had any. I think that part was true. I think she really did not know who they were. She didn't know what they wanted. She was just like, whatever. Let me get out of here.
Be safe.
Yeah, but I think the other questions he asked her, what's going on here? I think she knew all those answers. But I just think this in particular, she really didn't know who they were. And then they get into a conversation, and he's like, you have to work with me so we can get out of here. And she's like, apparently you don't realize.
I want to kill you.
I want to kill you. And I want to kill you so bad I'll kill myself. Yeah. I don't like you. And, in this section, I watched Revolution Revealed, which is on NBC's website. Yeah. If you go to the Revolution page on NBC, you'll see that they have something for every episode that's called Revolution Revealed. And for this episode, the writers were saying how this was the hardest part to write in this episode, because they were like, okay, we know there's so much anger between these two. So how do we bridge that gap? Because now they're in a room together, and we gotta kind of hurry up and bridge the gap so that they can get the storyline on.
But you know what? Like, when he started talking about, that I really didn't mean to do all this. I know I have a lot of blood on my hand, and she didn't really care too much about that. But when he was like, oh, I have a son, then she kind of felt kind of bad. Yeah. And I'm just like, don't do it. He's playing on your emotions. Please don't do it. He just wants you to make sure he's safe so he can get back to his men. But, she gives in, and she basically tells him how to get out, or pretty much they got out.
Well, I think she gives in not only for that, but also because Charlie, when she sees, I think at first, I don't think she was going to help him. Like, even when he told her the story about his son, and he put the guilt trip on her and said, you know, I know how much blood I have on my hands. You've got blood on your hands, you know.
Yeah.
Even with that, I don't think that that he had gotten through to her. Even when he talked about his own son and apologized for killing her son and all that.
Yeah.
I think she still would have been like, sorry, I can't help you. But when she saw Charlie's face, she saw that they needed help.
Yeah.
I think that's the only reason that she agreed to join forces. And then we see in this whole entire show, people continuously jump sides.
Yeah.
In a world that's like this, you have to survive. You can't just be loyal to one side. You got to think of what's best for the moment.
Because even with Monroe is that even you're over the Monroe Republic, but at the same time, you need everybody else, because right now, you don't have your men with you. You have the rebels against you.
Yeah.
I mean, with you, more or less like Rachel, then it's like Charlie and Aaron, all them. But at the same time, it's like, whose side do you join? Because he's not going to be able to get out the tower by himself.
He's not. He seems to think he can.
I mean, he's a superhero.
He is a superhero because his name's David Lyons. He's hot. So anyway, so, you know, the other thing that she talks about is she says she doesn't care. She wants to die, but the one thing, you know, Monroe is a smart guy, okay? Yeah. He runs an entire republic, and he's a smart guy. Because what he tells her is, I've seen this before. People who try to kill themselves, attempt suicide or whatever, and they live, their reaction is completely different. They're no longer trying to kill themselves.
Yes.
They're now looking at life totally different. Yes. So when you try to die and you don't die, you can't sit here and tell me that you too are okay with dying again. And you can see that's the beginning of breaking her down, because she doesn't want to die. She really doesn't.
Yes. I mean, like, the way she went in there for the fact of killing him because of Danny, but not realizing that, okay, well, she's selfish because she still has a daughter, which is Charlie. Yeah. You know, and I think that was just kind of a selfish move, because throughout the whole time, she's kind of torn, you know, from when she's like, oh, I want to kill myself, and she go with the grenade, but she doesn't throw the grenade down. And then as he speaks to her in his bunker, she's just kind of looking like, thinking like, oh, I really have an opportunity to live again. And when she sees Charlie, she look at it as like, this is my new inspiration for life. And the same thing Aaron been trying to tell her, you know, after episodes, like, you know, you have a lot to live for because Charlie is still here. Yeah. You know, but her mind says, like, do you think she loved one child more than the other? That's what I think. It's kind of weird,
I think she feels like Charlie could take care of herself. But I mean, now everything's been put into her perspective. Yeah. She almost died, so now she wants to live. And that's why she helps Monroe. Excuse me. But then at this moment, we have our first flashback that we've had in weeks.
Yes.
And I like the flashbacks.
Yeah, I do. It basically builds the storyline a lot more, because then you kind of understand the differences of what has happened in the past to why they're in the situation that they are right now.
And then in this flashback, we see her and her husband, Ben, talking about the medallions. And she's like, well, you know, he said that they were just created by grace as a precautionary measure. And she was like, well, why would she create them if we weren't going to need to use them? And he's like, we're not going to need to use them. We'll be fine. And they get into a fight. Yes. And she's like, well, I think, you know, for the next week, because this is right a week before the blackout. Yeah. So she's like, you know, I guess we should just take some time apart for this week.
Yeah, because he didn't care nothing about her feelings or what was going on with her.
He was under pressure. What do you mean he didn't have to care about her feelings? I just need to get this done within
the next week because we have a mission.
And she starts to feel bad about it. She's like, what if it's not contained? What if it goes bad? Yep. He's like, look, I got stuff to do. What do you want me to do? You want me to walk up to the president's, you know, to the White House, chain ourselves? I mean, he's right at this point. What can they really do? Yeah. Except, you know, he's dealing with very highly rated people who can kill you for... No, you can't just say no when you're dealing with like CIA and stuff. They'll kill you and make it look like you just died from natural causes.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, they have 2 little kids to think about. So I think that's why he's like, we just have to do this. And if you remember, that's how Danny got this life-saving surgeries, because they agreed to do this. Yeah. So at any moment, whatever was in him, they probably told him, like, if you don't do it, that's fine. We'll just click the little pill, the little blinking pill off in his chest.
Yeah.
You know, so I think that's why he's like, we got to keep doing this anyway. And when I watched this, the first thing I thought was, okay, so they took a little break. She tells Miles, like, okay, we need to have, not Miles, I'm sorry. She tells her husband, Ben, for this week, we just need to take some time apart. I think she has an affair with Miles in that week.
I thought she was talking about, like, getting a divorce or something.
No, I mean, married couples go through things. But I've always felt like during this entire season that something has been going on with her and Miles.
I think they have been together.
Well, I'm saying this would be a perfect time.
I think this is the week.
This is the week. No, but I mean, maybe they messed around before, but this week for sure, because she's saying, I got to get away. And maybe during this week she talks to Miles and finds out some stuff, and she's in a vulnerable place, and maybe she ends up doing some stuff she shouldn't be doing with her brother-in-law.
You think Charlie's Miles' daughter?
I still think that.
That'd be interesting.
That would be very interesting.
It's a prediction.
Okay. So yes. So back in the present, the leader of Monroe's men, who is still outside, we flash back to that. We see that they've captured the Nevilles, have them tied up. And so here's master manipulator Tom Neville talking to Franklin and the new guy, Riley. Yeah. And he's telling them, like, one day you're not going to be where you are. Monroe's crazy. He's going to turn on you just like he turned on me. He's killing all the people that he's supposed to.
All the loyal men that he said, he's killing off all his loyal men. So what makes you different from anyone else? Yeah, I might be in charge today, but you're just as expendable as anyone else because he can kill you at any moment.
Right. And at first, Riley, of course, Franklin's not hearing it. He leaves. Riley is kind of, and master manipulator Neville sees this. He sees that he kind of gets the dude.
It's the word of choice.
Yes, he sees it in his face. He can tell, like, okay, this guy,
I can get him.
He's scared. And that's not the way that you should feel when you're with your leader. Your leader should inspire you. He shouldn't make you scared and fearful. So this registers with the guy. He feels that. So he comes back and he brings the gun and even tells, before he releases them, he tells Neville there's 14 people for sure. Everybody else will get in line if you take care of Franklin. Yeah. And I like this part because Jason sticks up for his dad.
Jason finally sticks up for his dad.
They're back on the same team.
But I think he just did it because of the fact that, they're in a vulnerable moment right now where they have the possibility of being killed again. So what else would you do?
Well, I'm saying, so do you think that Jason is really back on his dad's team, or do you think he was just saying that?
I think he's just saying it just so that he can be free. But of course, if his dad become leader of the Monroe Republic, he will actually still work with his dad. But at the same time, he's gonna have to. If not, what else he's gonna do?
Okay, well, this is what I think. This is, as I was seeing this, I think this is going to be significant. I really think that at this point, Jason Neville's going to join with his father, and I really do think that they're going to be successful with this Monroe militia revolt. And I think that the Nevilles will end up taking over the Monroe Republic.
Yeah, I think so too.
And then it's because the whole season, Neville has been very power hungry. Yeah. You see, he jumps to whatever side is going to give him the most power. He left the Monroe Republic, went to Georgia Federation because they were, so whatever benefits him to put him in power is what he's going to do.
As he should, and somebody in his position, because he really have no loyalty to anyone right now because, one, Sebastian wanted him killed. It didn't happen. He lost his wife. He lost his son for quite some time. But even with Miles is he's just working under Miles as a worker. But he wants to basically be a leader. He's not a follower. He's a guy who kind of takes charge and he demands respect.
And I think overall, I do think Neville's a good guy. I think he's and Jason says that he's really always been really good to his men, which is why they follow him and they want to be loyal to him. Yeah. I think he's a very benevolent guy and he's kind. He's a good leader. I think he is. He's made some crazy decisions over the course of this season, but he's had to. Yeah. So I am personally not opposed to the Neville Republic.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens, if Monroe gets out of the tower safely. Yes. And for two, what happens when he get out the tower, because is his men going to turn against him? And then Monroe kind of is like, I'm second general to Tom Neville. Is that going to be a possibility?
No, I think I'll put that in predictions later, but I don't think that there's going to be a Monroe to worry about.
I think he still's going to live.
I don't know. I mean, he might, but I'm just saying, I don't think there's going to be a Monroe to worry about. So we get back inside the tower. Yes. And we see that Miles and Charlie and Nora are in there. They get down. They realize they have to get down to the 12th floor. So on the 11th floor, when they finally get there, they see that there's been massacre. Yeah. They see, what in the world has done this to these men? This is some serious carnage some serious weaponry.
Yeah, I saw all the dead bodies, and it's kind of like, what happens?
Yes, and of course we see the elevator. It's coming down. And I'm like, hold on. The elevator started coming down at like level 6. By the time it hit level 7 or 8, I would have been gone.
Yeah, they said
I would have been like, let's run. They literally waited until it got to almost 11 and the doors opened before they started running, which I was like, you guys, come on, like, go hide. Don't stand there and look like, hey guys, the elevator's coming down.
At the same time, like when they came down, they would never know where they went because they don't have communication. Whoever's watching the video feed, they're not able to communicate with like walkies. Like, oh well, you know, they just went to such and such building. They waited till like the door almost opened. They just kind of like, okay, we're just gonna follow the footsteps in the shadow. So it's kind of like, yeah, I agree with you. I would have like left when I was, oh, somebody else is coming down.
Guess what I'm saying? As soon as you see those numbers, I would have gone. I would at least hide in a doorway to be like, who's coming? First of all, who's in here?
Yeah.
Because these men look like they're dead. So who is in here?
Yeah.
Is this Rachel that's coming out? Is this, you know, they waited a little too long. You guys should have went a little faster than that. So of course they run into a room, they lock the door, and Aaron points out, he's like, what is this? There's cages, and it looks like there's like a skeleton or something.
Yeah.
And he's like, are these monkeys? So I guess they've been doing some testing in here, and they find an air duct that Miles busts a hole through.
I know, right? Just automatically just find ways out.
Yes, automatically, and they escape. And it flashes back to, I guess, Monroe and Rachel, and that's when they have a conversation, and he talks to her about his son.
Yeah.
And, you know, so he's showing his softer side because now she sees that Charlie's there. She's ready to go because she wants to save her baby, and you know, he talks about his son. And this I was glad about because I was like, finally, they're bringing his son back up. I've said that every week. Every week
coming back up?
Since that episode aired where Emma told him that she had a son with him.
Yeah.
And they've never mentioned it again.
But it's interesting to see, like, where will his son pop up at?
I don't know. I think that's going to be second season, definitely.
It has to be. Like, where is his son? You know, and, like, what will be his reaction to his son? And even if he do find his son, will he have a change of heart to make sure he protect his son away from the Monroe Republic? Because I don't think he's going to be the leader of his own republic again after this season.
I don't think it's going to be totally different. It has to be. And that's why I'm saying I think Neville is going to end up really running. Now it's going to be the Neville Republic. It is. I'm telling you, it's going to be the Neville Republic.
Interesting to see.
Right. And then there's going to be a quest for Monroe to find his son. Because now that he has more purpose in his life.
That bunker was nice, though.
It's a very nice bunker.
Like,
you saw that Apple computer.
I saw about to say, like,
oh, they got an Apple laptop in there.
15 years later.
What if the internet
MacBook
still
Pro.
works? Right.
MacBook Pro. I was like, oh, okay, product placement.
Yes. And so then we get another flashback.
Yes.
And this time it's 4 months after the blackout, and Ben is trying to rig a computer with a medallion.
Yes.
And Rachel comes back, and she's
heartbroken.
She is. She talks about the little boy that looks like skin and bones. She tried to rescue him. He ran away.
She's not all the dead bodies, how it stinks so bad. And I could imagine it stinks so bad, you know, because one, it's limited food, people killing each other just for survival and just leaving dead bodies out there, you know, because like when you saw it in the beginning, you just saw dead bodies everywhere on the side of the road, here, and it's like, okay. It's like just another day, so.
Yeah, and she feels very responsible. She feels like we did this. We are responsible for all these people dying. And she's right. You guys are responsible for it.
Because they turned the power out.
Yeah, but Ben tries to tell her to be a little more positive because at this point, he's like, we can't even think about that. We got 2 kids we got to worry about. So let's just stay focused on that for them. You know, we've got to get out of here and figure this thing out. So I can understand why it's weighing so heavily on her conscience to turn the lights back on, because I guess for her it's some redemption as well. It's some redemption from, like, I was responsible for all of these people dying, so at least if I turn the power back on, then I can be like, I did a good thing.
I guess she kind of had that change of heart the way Miles kind of had his change of heart. You know, when he was basically like training all these men of the Monroe Republic to basically to be killers, but now he's trying to do the right thing to save people's lives and to make sure that, you know, he get this, like, have the safety of so many people. Not only like Charlie, but, you know, Nora, Aaron, you know, he's kind of like changing his thought and his feeling now. And I think Rachel is the same way now too.
Yeah, she's going through that.
Because she has the ability to possibly turn the power back on because they have the book. Now she's in the tower and she knows Grace is still alive. So now she's feeling like, I have the opportunity to do this.
Yes, exactly. So then we go back to the to Miles and Company. And they see on a map that Aaron has that there's an armory, so he goes to the armory, but they have to sneak.
Because they're being chased.
Being chased with these guys with the
electromagnetic gun. Yeah.
Guns, bazookas, I should say. But he gets there, there's no weapons there, so then they're trying to run away, and Charlie ends up getting pinned after one of the guys shoots in her direction.
Yes.
And he's getting ready to blow her and Aaron to shreds when, out of nowhere,
Sebastian
Monroe saves the day, and he shoots the dude.
Yes.
And she's stunned because she's like, and he's he's like, thank you would be nice.
Be like, I just saved your life.
Right.
But at the same time, like, she don't understand what's been happening between Rachel and him.
She doesn't know what's transpired so far. And so, of course, he walks away. Her mom comes, and she's, like, livid. Charlie's like, no, let's go after him. Let's kill him. Yeah. And her mom's like, let's go. Come on. Like, there's other stuff we got to deal with. Come on, let's go. And they leave. They end up getting captured.
They leave and get captured. Yes.
And we find out why they get captured, because there's some exceptionally smart people that are there. But before we get to that, I did want to say this. Monroe walks away, and we'll start with that. He walks away, and he goes and he finds there's another guy with another gun, and he shoots the guy.
Yes.
And that's to help his buddy Miles, who's not his buddy, but he really just shot the guy so he could shoot Miles.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, though. Like, you really have that much of vendetta against someone. If you really want him killed, I'm like, oh, you just did my job for you. But I think he just feels more satisfactory in killing Miles himself.
Exactly, that's why he kills a dude. And he's just like, come out, let's finish this. Let's do this. Now, who do you think is going to win? What do you think is going to happen?
It just depends on who run out electric charge first.
Nobody, because this place has electric charges for days. So who do you think is going to win? What do you think is going to happen?
I don't think they're going to kill each other.
What do you think is going to happen then?
I think they're going to have a nice fight. They might get captured. I think they're going to have a fight and they're going to get captured.
I don't know. I think that one of two things is going to happen. Either David Lyons is no longer a part of this series and he gets killed.
Nah.
Sorry, Sebastian Monroe, you're gone. Or he somehow gets injured, maybe, perhaps, and then finds a way out and leaves. And now he's on his own.
I don't know, because like the next episode just kind of showed him how to face off.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. So I think he either dies. I think Miles is successful in killing him, or they injure each other and somehow Monroe gets out, but he's no longer the leader of his own militia.
Yeah, I think he's not gonna die, because I just feel like he has to go back and see like what has happened with his camp and who's in charge of his camp. I think that's more of a surprise, and then it's like, what is he gonna do? Is he gonna try to kill Major Neville?
No, because he has nobody on his team now.
Yes.
So I think he'll be a prisoner or something. I don't know.
Interesting to see.
It'll be. I know. I'm excited about this.
I'm excited about the finale.
Woo! I'm so excited. Okay, so then we see, of course, Rachel, Charlie, and Aaron get taken to the rest of the tower people.
Yes.
And they find out what's really going on. And a lot of secrets were revealed here. We find out who the tower people are.
Yes.
They've been in here since the blackout. That's like 15 years.
Hey, but they
at this point, maybe 20 years.
Yes.
15, 16, who knows? Because the amount of time it's taken them to walk across all these places, some time has passed. So maybe this is 16, 17 years.
Yes.
This is crazy.
No association with anybody else.
And you hear what Dan says? He's like, I can't tell you when I last saw the sun or rain.
He said, I don't know what day it is. And it's like, and when he kind of put it, he's like, it's my family, my children, my children's children. I'm just like, man.
They're a little crazy. They're a little crazy. I think, and that's what it'll do to you when you're literally in a room for a long period of time.
Yes.
And they've been in this place for years. So I'm thinking they're a little obsessive. They're a little loopy, because I mean, that's why he's like, my children's children will be here. We're going to protect this by all costs. Yes. And I see why he wants to do that, but I think they're also a little crazy.
Yeah, I just think just to the point of, it's always good to see someone else, but at the same time, they're protecting us for a reason. They're protecting that they don't want anybody to go to level 12 for a reason. And so, they can do, by any means, this is what they do. But at the same time, like, they can prevent anybody from coming in. because as long as nobody had access to the tower, nobody else is going to come in.
Right. So, I mean, he's saying that nobody should ever have access to the 12th floor because it's just entirely too
much.
Too powerful.
Yes.
So, I'm feeling like Rachel is giving them an option here. They can continue living like this, which is crazy.
Yes.
You live in a tower and you have never left. You've never seen the light of day. Or you can potentially get out of this crazy lifestyle you live by taking a risk and letting her turn the power back on.
But you got to look at what is the risk that...
And that's what we find out, which is the entire world could get blown up with fire.
Yes. So you look at the risk that most people want to play it safe. Because, you know, they do have life, they do have their family. So why would I take the risk, whether it's a 5% risk or a 20% risk, of actually blowing myself and everyone else? I mean, I like my life.
But okay, so I understand that there's a risk that you have to take with this. But what kind of quality of life do you have if you're just going to continue to live your life like this? There's no, and Aaron says this, when they destroy Jane Warren's book that has all the secrets of how this is supposed to be done, they destroy the book because they're like, nobody should have this information. We cannot turn the lights back on because if we do, it's too much of a risk. We could all die. We could blow up this planet. We don't want to do that. And my thing is this, look, you guys are already 1 foot in the grave anyway, because you don't have medicine, you don't have clean water. What kind of quality of life do you have? So maybe we should all just die. Maybe we should flip the switch and let this world burn into
I would make
ashes.
sure we don't leave you in charge, Megan, because we're all going to die. Leave it up to you. We're gonna die.
But I'm saying, you have a chance to potentially live a great life that is close to what you lived before, or you can die. And I feel like at this point, where are you at? You're close. You're closer to the horrible death experience right now, the way things are going. So why don't you just take the risk and turn the lights on? And Rachel says it's like a 1 in a 1 million chance that
it's the risk of the unknown. Like, really, it's the risk of the unknown, because you really don't know what happens or who's going to have what power and what's going to happen with each person. Because again, we don't have a president. We don't have everything. Is basically, it's going to be a dictatorship, and we're going to have to figure out, like, and what means of power that we are restoring to the world. Are we basically restoring the whole entire world? Are we basically doing segmented? Are we going to try to contact certain people? Like, you really got to kind of look at the risk. The risk is not even being blown up, but the risk of it's going to be chaotic.
Okay, but so then why can't they do that? Why can't they talk about that? For them, for the tower people, it's all or nothing. Like, we cannot at all even entertain the idea of turning the lights back on.
Yes.
Why can't we talk about, okay, let's try to turn the lights back on in France and see what happens with the satellite and see what happens over there. We don't know any of these people in France anyway.
I would not turn the power on in a foreign country first before I turn the power on.
No, let's just flip the switch, turn it off, flip the switch.
Lights on, lights off.
Let's just test, I'm saying, like, they won't even entertain the idea of potentially turning the lights on in a segment, which I think is ridiculous because, again, you can have food, you can have clean water, and medicine.
That's a possibility, but at the same time, they've been so conditioned over the last 15, 16 years that, this is the lifestyle that we've been living. We've been living without power, but even though we do have power in the tower, and with them, they grown their own food. I'm pretty sure they purify some water, but at the same time, to them, they rather have the access to all the power and control it themselves, only in the tower themselves, than to give it to everyone else, because the fear of the unknown. That's a big unknown fear to kind of have.
Yeah, that is a very big fear to have.
Yes.
Because all of a sudden, if I wake up and everything in my house is on, I don't know what I would do. I would go nuts. I'd be like, hold on, let me check my bank account. My laptop's working again.
You're like,
do I have money now?
Can I spend money?
I know, right? I have money. And it could be a little crazy. So I understand that, but I just think that they were a little too extreme. And I think that's part of them being crazy, like being by themselves. So I don't know. I am excited to see what happens with them. And I am more excited to see what happens with the whole Neville Monroe storyline, personally.
I mean, that's definitely interesting to see on next week's episode. I mean, I hope next week, I just feel like...
Okay, wait a minute. Let's do predictions. Let's go into predictions right now.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV
Okay, go. What do you
I think next week they really gonna kind of home in on a lot that's gonna happen for next season. I mean, I think the Monroe Republic, where what Tom is gonna do, and is he gonna be successful? Even though they have 14 men that supports him right now, but is he gonna be successful in taking over the Monroe Republic? I don't think Monroe's gonna die. And like you said, he might get injured, but at the same time, they're gonna look at like him and Miles. Let's work together. As overall for Rachel and Aaron and the whole level 11 with everybody that's in the tower, I have no prediction on that. I just think it's gonna be like a fight.
I think, okay, so I watched the promo for the season finale, which is next week, Monday, 10/9 Central, and I think they get to level 12, and Aaron is on the computer, and he's like, should I do it? And he presses something. I honestly think that it's not going to work. I think something's going to go wrong, and it's not going to work, and the power's not going to get turned on.
I think if the power get turned on, I think they're going to take Aaron them captive, and they're going to shut the power right back down.
I don't know. This is going to be
and
really
then they're going
good.
to feel betrayed, and Grace, they can pretty much, again, they can be held captive again, or they're going to kick him out the tower.
This is so exciting. Okay, let's go to news and gossip really quick.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Okay, so this week Revolution held steady with 1.9 in adults and 6.48 million viewers. It beat out ABC 2020. It beat out Hawaii 5-0. So we're doing good, guys. Let's keep it up for the season finale next week. And next Tuesday, the season finale, we will have a special guest. We have Maria Howell again, who plays Grace Belmont. She'll be calling in as our guest. So make sure you tune in next week for this. And of course, don't forget to go to serialbuddies.com.
If you want to laugh.
If you want to laugh, if you want to support us so that we can continue to give you wonderful shows like this NBC Revolution recap, make sure you go to serialbuddies.com and you download the movie, you share it with your friends, tell them about it, and you can also go to Twitter at serial_buddies. Make sure you follow them on Twitter and tell them tell them what you think about the movie.
Yes, we love critics.
We do. So where can they find you, Larice?
You can find me at Larice Shamar on Twitter, but also check me out at TruePeoplesMedia.com, Instagram, TruePeoples.
All right, and I'm Megan Thomas, your host. You can always find me at Meg Scoop, like scoop of ice cream, on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And make sure you also follow at Maria Menounos, at AfterBuzz TV, and at Serial_Buddies to find out the latest with the movie Adventure of Serial Buddies. Until next week, the season finale. See you.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later!
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.